Do you have what it takes to be a revenue manager? That's a tough question, because first we have to understand, what does it actually mean to be a revenue manager? And second, what skills are required? And in this lesson, I'm going to talk to you about the skills a revenue manager needs and the other stakeholders the revenue manager interacts with on a daily basis. The revenue manager sets a strategy for the business, uses tactical approaches to optimize revenue, and influences other stakeholders for the best possible performance of the hotel. So the revenue manager works closely with stakeholders in and outside of the organization, such as general managers, front office manager, or even a sales manager, and representatives of the distribution partners outside of the hotel. In order to influence those stakeholders, a revenue manager needs to understand what motivates and drives those people. A general manager, for example, needs to optimize revenues so they can drive profitability. Yet a front office manager might be more interested in guest analytics. How happy are our guests? Or how efficient are we at checking in and checking out? To do their job well, the modern revenue manager needs to excel in 3 areas. Number 1, your soft skills, which is your attitude. Second thing is your hard skills or your analytical data foundation. And number 3, the knowledge about other departments such as sales, front office, or even marketing. Let's look at 3 soft skills to develop: influencing others, storytelling, and building strong external and internal relationships. A revenue manager needs to be able to find the story in the data and then to encourage stakeholders to believe in the success and the mission of the business. Only this will drive action. And here are some basic tips to develop these skills. 1, appeal to people logics. Then connect your message to their goals and work collaboratively as a team. So instead of just handing over reference points and numbers and leaving everybody to figure it out for themselves, you can approach it with these soft skills like, let me tell you what all this data actually means for each of us and what we can do as a result of it. Isn't this a much better approach for everyone? Now, let's look at some of the hard skills. The revenue manager needs to understand how to use data to their advantage. And here is an easy way for you to remember that. Visualize, the ability to turn data into meaningful graphs and tables. Analyze, the ability to make sense of the data used for your story. And 3, to optimize, which is the ability to draw conclusions from the data to drive revenue. Now, these 3 skills will allow a successful modern revenue manager to make concise, but more importantly, data-driven decisions. Now, let me give you an example. Imagine pulling a report from your property management systems of the last 3 years, and your general manager turns around, "So Fabian, which days were best?" An easy way to visualize that data would be to add a color coding. This already draws out heaps information you need and much more, because now you can start analyzing your data. You can see hotspots. Maybe the highest day is surrounded by a week of amazing results. The only question that will then remain is, how do we optimize? Or how can I make those days even better? Applying, of course, what I've learned from the data. Now, you could also use that data to say, how can I make those days the blueprint for any and every other day? Enough for me, now it's over to you. Take a moment to ask about the key drivers for each department in and outside of your organization. And here are 3 lessons a revenue manager needs to remember. Number 1, revenue managers need to understand the key financial drivers for each hotel department. We need to develop soft skills that will influence others, but equally build relationships that can then be used to tell stories. And lastly, we're using the visualize, analyze, and optimize approach to data to make important revenue decisions.